The Republican presidential debate reveals the shocking dishonesty of the left-wing media. Germany is kicking itself in the ass over allowing all those Muslims in, and Justice Antonin Scalia says the liberal Supreme Court is helping bring about, quote, the destruction of our democratic system. My name is Howard Riell, and this is Riell Truth. You're listening to the American Freedom Network, streaming live around the world at AmericanNewsNet.com, and on Facebook and YouTube and Tumblr, and in the book, Riell Truth, Stay Angry. And of course, as always, broadcasting out across the Colorado Front Range on KHNC, Johnstown, Colorado, 1360 AM, The Lion. The call-in number, 877-254-7524. My friends, welcome back. You watched the debate last night just as I did. Were your fists clenched in rage like mine were? Item from PRNTLY.com. I guess that's PRNightly.com. Ted Cruz has spearheaded the movement tonight on air to have Mark Levin, Rush Limbaugh, and Sean Hannity host the debate for the GOP. Trump, Cruz, Rubio were vocal critics of the media as media members faced boos for unfair questions like asking Huckabee to attack Trump, telling Carson he should have vetted what an herbal supplement said about him, and asking Rubio if he was immature to take a loan from his 401k. Rush, Hannity, and Levin are open to the idea of hosting the next GOP debate and will ask Reince Priebus, the head of the Republican Party, whether they can, unquote. My friends, that makes all the sense in the world to me. In fact, I like the idea so much, I lend my support. I'm willing to appear with Rush and with Levin and with Hannity. I will help moderate the event if they think that will help. Yeah, I'll let you know if I hear from them. Item from CNN, Dateline, Los Angeles. Republican presidential candidates tore into CNBC's moderators at Wednesday night's GOP debate, issuing the sharpest attacks on the mainstream media of the 2016 election cycle. Senator Ted Cruz accused the moderators of trying to instigate a cage match. Senator Marco Rubio called the media a super PAC for Hillary Clinton, and Donald Trump slammed the, quote, ridiculous questions. In the final minutes, sources told CNN, angry representatives from the campaigns began confronting Republican National Committee officials to voice complaints about the tone and substance of the debate. When the face-off was over, RNC Chairman Reince Priebus blasted CNBC for asking gotcha questions and said the network should be ashamed. I was very disappointed in the moderators. I'm disappointed in CNBC, he told reporters in the spin room in Boulder, Colorado. I thought they would bring forward a pretty fair forum here tonight, but I think it was one gotcha question, one personal low blow after another. He continued, quote, it's like they tried to design a Rubik's Cube for every question to take the worst element, I think, of what the moderators and what the media should bring to the table. All I can tell you is that while I'm pretty much proud of our candidates for sticking together, I'm very disappointed in the moderators and I'm disappointed with CNBC. Priebus went even further in an official statement, quote, one of the great things about our party is that we're able to have a dynamic exchange about which solutions will secure a prosperous future, and I will fight to ensure future debates allow for more robust exchange. CNBC should be ashamed of how this debate was handled. The candidates' attacks on the media were red meat for the conservative base, which already has a deep mistrust of the mainstream press. But even by conservative standards, the candidates' broadsides on Wednesday night were aggressive and unrelenting and delighted the audience in Boulder. Quote, my friends, I watched the debate and I was disgusted. I've been a journalist for about 38 years. And so I know one or two things about journalism. I'm here to tell you what you saw last night was not journalism. It was show business. It was ugly show business. It was partisan show business masking itself as journalism. It was disgusting. It was rude. It was arrogant. It was insulting. I love the fact that Ted Cruz called them on it. You want to know who I think won the debate? There were winners, there were losers. I posted on my Facebook page earlier this morning, Howard Riell, Riell Truth Radio, Riell Truth Radio on Facebook. What am I saying? I thought Trump came off well. I thought Cruz and Rubio came off very well. Christie came off very well. Carly Fiorina came off very well. As far as Jeb Bush and John Kasich, they might as well pack it in. They're all done. As far as Dr. Ben Carson, I like him very much. I think he'd be a good president. I don't think he's a good debater, but there are more debates to come. Everybody's in the news. Their positions are in the media every single day. Look at what they're planning. There's lots of good, wonderful, innovative ideas there to bring our country back from the brink. And make no mistake about it, we are on the brink. Item from Reuters, Dateline, Berlin. Germany toughened its rhetoric on Wednesday in response to an accelerating influx of asylum seekers, pledging to step up deportations of migrants and accusing its neighbor Austria of trying to push refugees over their common border after dark. The sharper tone from Interior Minister Thomas de Maizière came as a new poll showed support for Chancellor Angela Merkel's conservatives slumping to a 3-year low over her handling of the refugee crisis. She has been pummeled by her conservative allies in Bavaria, the southern state where most migrants are entering Germany from Austria, for refusing to commit the resources to stem the tide. Stop! My friends, you've heard it. I've heard it many times. People have said it. It's all over the place, and it's true. There is no cure for stupidity. Germany may be the stupidest country that's ever existed. Mass destruction of the Jewish people brought about World War II, some 62 million people killed. They elected Adolf Hitler to run the country, and now, decades after all those debacles and all those horrors, they threw open their gates to allow an invading Muslim army into their country. Well, wisdom sometimes comes too late, and it's too late for Germany. Germany is done, as is a lot of Europe. Now, part of Europe can still be salvaged if they wake the hell up. And frankly, between you and me, as I've said many, many times, I don't really care about Europe. As far as I'm concerned, Europe can burn. But what happens in Europe affects America. And America also has politicians intent on wrecking this country who are waving in millions of illegal immigrants, not only from Mexico, but from the Middle East and from Africa. And even if you say they're illegal, I don't care. They still should not be here. They are poison in the body politic of the United States of America. So let's look. Let's look at Germany. Germany took in all these immigrants, and now they wish they hadn't. Well, why don't we be wise before the destruction happens? Why don't we be wise before we poison our country beyond all saving? It's Thursday. It's Riell Truth. I got lots for you. Stick around. Don't touch that dial. I'll be right back.
And this is the spirit of Antichrist, which you have already heard was coming and is now already in the world. 1 John 4:1.
Guys, what you're listening to is not left-wing media. I am the right-wing media because everything I say is right. Howard Riell, the show is called Riell Truth. After the debate debacle last night, they gathered the troops on Fox News. Sean Hannity recapping the debate. What he has to say is true, and it's accurate, and it's real. So let's listen to it.
Reaction to tonight's presidential debate is candidate, the number one front runner, the polls. Donald Trump is with us. Mr. Trump, how are you, sir? Hi, Sean. You know, I've got to be honest, we spent a lot of time talking about this. Right out of the gate, I felt John Howard was extraordinarily unfair to you and attacking you in the line about the clown and unnamed sources that tell him that you would fly before that ever passed. I've got to imagine that that's pretty aggravating for you. What's your reaction to it? Well, I don't know. I think we did very well tonight. The debate itself went very well, and the audience started to fill in. And, you know, I guess I expected them to go into the polls, and I really expected them. I thought it was unnecessary, and it was very interesting. I think the result was very interesting. But the evening was a great success. You know, one of the big moments of this debate, and I actually think you got the better of this moment, was for the exchange that you had with John Kasich. We're going to play for you, remind our audience, and let them see how this went down. First of all, John got lucky with a thing called fracking. Okay, he got lucky with fracking. Believe me, that's why Ohio is so dry. And that's important for you to know. Number two, this is the man that was a managing general partner at the Lehman Brothers when it went down the tubes and almost took every one of us with us, including Ben and myself, because I was there and I watched what happened. And the Lehman Brothers started the wall. He was on the board and he was a managing general partner. And just thirdly, he was so nice. He was such a nice guy. And he said, "Oh, I'm never going to attack." But then his partner was Kane. He's got that phrase on the end. And he got nasty. And he got nasty. So you know what? You can have it. But let me respond. First of all, Ohio does have an energy industry, but we're diversified. We're one of the fastest growing states in the country. We came back from the dead. And you know what? It works very, very well. And secondly, when you talk about me being on the board of Lehman Brothers, I wasn't on the board of Lehman Brothers. I was a banker and I was proud of it. I traveled the country and learned how people make jobs. What is your overall reaction? Because in the last 24 hours, 36 hours, John Kasich, the governor, seems to be getting far more aggressive and hostile. Where do you think it's coming from?
He's desperate.
Well, he has very bad phone numbers. I mean, it's very simple. So the attack that said, I think it was inappropriate. But that just came from phone numbers. I mean, he seems like a nice guy. But he has very, very low phone numbers, and therefore he attacked us. So I think it worked out very well for me. Let me go to the issue of the substance of your economic plan, because there's a lot to it. And I don't know who these unnamed sources that Don Harwood was talking about. When you talk about trillions of dollars that would be I don't think those sources exist. I don't believe they exist. I actually got the impression, it was his personal opinion. It was a great line when you mentioned Larry Kudlow, who works on CNBC, and he said, well, you got it. I said, yeah, I like Larry. He's a friend of mine. He is a good guy. And I think he's going to work for Senator. Explain your economic plan, though, because what he didn't seem to factor in was the economic growth aspect of repatriating money and a lower corporate tax rate, et cetera. So give us a lowering taxes, Jim, lowering taxes, if we're bringing the rates down. And we're the highest tax in the world. We're the highest tax country right now, and it's not even close. We're bringing the rate down to 15% for corporations. We're simplifying the curve. We're bringing it down to 10. They're going to get your money back in. We have right now $2.5 trillion outside of this country that can't get in. We're bringing that rate way down. Everybody's going to bring their money back in. It's going to be used in our country and some of the other things. And then, of course, we're starting to cut. And we're going to cut expenses and cut waste and fraud and abuse. And we're going to have a really dynamic country again. Mr. Trump, it's estimated that there's some $4 trillion overseas that multinational corporations don't bring back to this country because of the high taxation here. Yeah. These corporate versions, they say it's not the corporate, it's corporatism. Right. Didn't those corporations throw money here, build land watch how bad the media was, and to watch all the other candidates tonight in a very different way come to your defense. And that included Mike McAfee. That included Ted Cruz. What was your reaction to that? I thought it was great. I mean, we have a great relationship, and I really thought it was great. There wasn't a huge camaraderie up there tonight, not only with respect to me, but with respect to everybody. I thought it was very beautiful to watch. Last question. The media seems to have a real hard time grasping the idea that you're going to build a wall and that you're going to make Mexico pay for it. And as you try to give your answer tonight, I wanted to hear the rest of it. And I want you to explain to our audience exactly how that would happen, because the media seems to lack a comprehension about how Mexico's economy is so tightly tied to our economy, and that it would be in their best interest to do so. So we're going to build a wall. It's going to be paid for by Mexico. It's going to create a border. We don't have a border now. And if you don't have a border, you don't have a country. We're going to have a door for people to come in illegally, but I will tell you, it's going to be a beautiful wall. People will be coming illegally, but we're putting up a wall. Mexico's going to pay for it, and we're going to have a border. And if they pay for it, why? Because they make our trade balance with Mexico is $50 billion a year. We give Mexico a tremendous amount of money. I love the Mexican people. I employ tens of thousands over the years of Hispanics and people generally. These are great people. But the leaders are too smart for our leaders. What's happening to us is a disgrace. And it cannot happen any longer. So we're going to build a wall, we're going to pay for it, and you're going to be very happy. Last question, we're going to let you go. Probably the strongest critic of Governor Jeb Bush. Probably is underperformed by every poll number out there. And for some reason, he was out there attacking Marco Rubio. And I wanted to get, what do you think the strategy was behind it? We're number one in the polls, and Carson concerned me a little bit this week. What's your reaction to that, too? Well, I think Ben is a terrific guy, and I think that, frankly, Marco and Jeb were going at it, and I sort of said that. They were going at it, but Ben is standing right next to me, and he's a terrific guy. He's right over here. Hey, Ben, you're a terrific guy. So that's the story. Why don't you bring it up? On Hannity, we'll bring all the candidates together. I said this earlier. I actually decided that it was the candidates that beat the moderators tonight, and in spite of what they wanted, this was a substantive. I think so. I think so. And there were some little jabs. I'll tell you, there were little jabs, but there was a great camaraderie among the candidates.
Okay, it was the candidates against the moderators, and if you heard the booing from the audience, everybody else was against the moderators. They were sitting there, these high-paid pseudo-journalists, looking snarky, looking arrogant, looking like they wanted to get their faces on all the pages of the newspapers and magazines and in the internet stories. Like they wanted to be media celebrities like Wolf Blitzer or Howard Riell. All they did was disgrace themselves. And by the way, give the lie to the fact that the leftist media is not leftist and that they're fair and objective. They are not. And if you think they are, you're not really thinking. Let's move on. Item from Breitbart. Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia told an audience at Santa Clara University in Silicon Valley that the Supreme Court is liberal, not conservative, and that its views herald, quote, the destruction of our democratic system. The San Francisco Chronicle noted Scalia also blasted the notion of a living constitution, one whose meaning changes over time for different circumstances, as interpreted by judges with their own personal biases. Quote, for Pete's sake, the Constitution is a legal document. It means what it says, and it doesn't mean what it doesn't say. People don't say anymore it's unconstitutional. Instead, anything you hate should be prohibited, and anything you love should be supported by the Constitution. I don't know where this comes from, unquote, he said, according to the San Jose Mercury News. The location, I won't go into that. Scalia is right. Scalia is very, very often right. We have made a joke of the Constitution. The president of this country ignores it. Liberals twist it into whatever they feel like twisting it into, and we do so at our own peril because it's the Constitution that has really served as the backbone of America as it became the strongest, most powerful, and richest country in the world. And when you weaken the backbone, everything slumps. We need to resurrect the Constitution. Item from CNSnews.com. In the Detroit Public School District, 96% of 8th graders are not proficient in mathematics, and 93% are not proficient in reading. This is according to the results of the 2015 National Assessment of Educational Progress tests published by the Department of Education's National Center for Educational Statistics. Stop. My friends, this is a scathing indictment of Democratic liberal policies. Detroit has been run by Democrats for decades and decades and decades, and the place is a disaster. It looks like Dresden after the firestorm. The kids can't read. The cops can't police the city. It's a horrifying disgrace because that is what must happen when liberal policies go on for any period of time. They simply don't work. And if you think they do, I invite you. Take a trip to Detroit, walk around the city, stay long enough to walk around the city at night. And then the next day, if you're still alive, if you can still speak, you call me and tell me what you found. Item from Jews News, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has never been one to mince words about the threat Iran poses to his country, as well as to the United States. He's been an outspoken critic about the nuclear agreement reached with Iran, which was announced by the Obama administration. In March, he appeared before a joint session of Congress and warned that the proposed agreement, quote, doesn't block Iran's path to the bomb, it paves Iran's path to the bomb, unquote. The actual agreement reached is even worse than the earlier proposal reached in April. In an interview with NBC News' Lester Holt, Netanyahu listed 3 troubling aspects of the agreement. It lifts the economic sanctions against the rogue regime. It keeps Iran's nuclear infrastructure in place. It gives Iran 24 days to respond to any inspection of facilities by the UN. When you let the #1 terrorist regime in the world have a sure path to the bomb and hundreds of billions of dollars to finance its terrorism around the world, that's not good for any of us, Netanyahu said. Regarding inspections, he added, can you imagine giving a drug dealer 24 days notice before you inspect the premises? There's a lot of time to flush a lot of meth down the toilet. Netanyahu has repeatedly said that, quote, no deal is better than a bad deal. In his interview with Holt, he stated that a good deal would have linked Iran's conduct to the lifting of sanctions. There is no linkage to Iran's change of behavior, he said. They can continue their regional aggression, their terrorism worldwide, subversion in so many countries and so many lands. In fact, they're going to get hundreds of billions of dollars to fuel their terror and military machine, and they don't have to change anything, unquote. So let me thank you to all the Obama voters out there. We'll be back.
Touching your things like words and pictures, which are usually enough to bring, if not a billion, certainly thousands of them into the streets for reporting of rioting and killing, for which we should be blaming the Jews. What do you mean you've got evidence? Who needs evidence to blame Jews? Well, if you exist. Thanks to modern technology, much of it is really no coincidence there, I feel. A person today can both feel on one side of the world, and Muslims on the other side can know about it and be rioting and killing each other in seconds. Those crafty Jews, what will they think of next? Actually, no, come to think of it, isn't that rather alarming? Not rioting and killing each other, obviously, because that comes straight out of the mosque with the full blessing of the clerics, and never make an error. No, I'm talking about Israeli technology. How wrong is that? That's got to be double hurrah with a cherry on top, minimum, surely. Oh, but luckily for the Muslim world, hypocrisy is not haram. It's very much halal. Indeed, it's a veritable staple among the frequently invoked 1 billion Muslims who are always offended by all the wrong things. Persecution? I'm not offended. Little fingers. With all due respect. But if I have, what can I say? In for a billion, in for a trillion.
Great Lakes Power is a full-service company. We service everything we sell. We provide
All right, now we're cooking with gas.
packages, custom design equipment, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303
answer the question, what can we do? A free delivery is a state. It's time to act. Those who have given everything to this country would expect no less. Tune in to the new Liberty Forum radio show Fridays at 9 a.m. The Elizabeth Locker Planet Elizabeth reminds our listeners that the drug problem is well documented. We know our kids will be approached at early ages. We want to applaud the youngsters in our community who have had the strength to say no to drugs. They provide examples of what they and families to be the best thing to be. That's the Elizabeth Locker Planet located at 366 Grand Street in Elizabeth, serving our area since 1943 and specializing in naturalizing HB and pork and complete custom processing. Call 303-688-2240. That's 303-688-2240.
All right, guys, let your hearts not be troubled. I know you're sitting out there thinking, Riell, we love you. You're the best. Someone should offer you a big fat contract to do your own show on a major city. That'll come if it ever comes. But I know what else you're thinking. You're thinking, Riell, you're ignoring Islam today. You're giving us lots of politics. You're giving us the Republicans, and you're giving us the major media. What about the religion of peace? Well, to all my tens, maybe, for all I know, hundreds of millions of Muslim listeners across the country, across the world, I haven't forgotten you. I want to present your side of the debate so people will get a better, fuller, richer understanding of the religion of peace. And so here's my good friend from England, Pat Condell.
Well, first of all, I want to apologize to anyone who has not been offended by one of my videos. I know that some people only watch the damn things to be offended, and I don't like to disappoint. I know that some people have been offended because they write to me and tell me so, which is good, because I like to hear everyone's opinion. Well, mostly. Like anyone else who criticizes the religion of peace, I get my share of minor threats from single brain cell organisms masquerading as human beings. Indeed, you can't tell of my correspondence deranged
Well, my friends, that's Pat Condell. And to my Muslim listeners, and now all I ever hear is that Muslims don't understand Islam. The Muslims are out there killing and beheading and blowing things up. They're misunderstanding Islam. And so I present Pat Condell as kind of a public service so that you too can have a much better understanding of exactly what Islam is. Item from Breitbart. A Swedish journalist attempting to make a movie about the residents of the Swedish no-go zone and their habit of throwing stones at police has herself been attacked and had stones thrown at her as she attempted to film. They thought we crossed the limit and that we were standing on their land, journalist Valentina Zaffari told Swedish newspaper Expressen. Ms. Zaffari planned on investigating police reports that any officer trying to patrol the Stockholm district of Tensta, with its foreign-born population now over 70%, would be pelted with rocks. She wanted to get behind the black headlines and find out what was really troubling the poor residents. So along with a cameraman, she traveled into the suburb to film their report last week. They had set up their recording equipment in a small central square and spoken to a man who had agreed to be interviewed. But as they waited, another man who appeared to be upset approached to ask why they were filming. He went away only to return with his gang. Quote, then he became very, very angry and said he'll get stones and show us what stoning is. When I saw that he was armed with a stone, I just wanted to get out of there, said Ms. Zaffari. At this point, 3 more men appeared from a subway and demanded to know what they were doing. The camera was recording and captured the moment the men kicked the equipment to the floor, shouted insults at Ms. Zaffari, and poured coffee on the cameraman before running off. Police estimate there are around 55 such areas in Sweden, similar to the Tensta no-go zone, which was the scene of a riot in 2012 and which boasts 95 to 100% foreign origin rate for children living there. Unquote. My friends, learn. Learn. Open your eyes, open your ears, see what's happening on the planet. In Germany, they let in every Muslim immigrant who wanted to come in, and now they hate themselves for doing it. I reported yesterday Germans are running to get guns now because they've allowed cancer into their national bloodstream. Sweden has become one of the rape capitals of the planet, and now there are entire sections, 55 such sections of Sweden, where the cops dare not go, and a reporter gets stoned for showing up to do a report. So learn. Learn before it's too late. Learn before it's very too late. We'll take a break. Riell Truth marches on. All right, guys, I'm done. I will be back on Monday with more Riell Truth. Do yourself a favor. Go to my Facebook page, Riell Truth Radio. Sniff around, investigate. Lots of articles, lots of videos. Each and every one of them is important, or I wouldn't put it up there. When you watch them or read them, share them with people. Get the conversation going, because we've got to take this country and this whole world back, because it's slipping away. It really is. And I fear where the hell it's going. I'll see you on Monday. Hasta luego.